I know about Christians. They're more interested in how they can better themselves than in helping people who need it. If they're what God's about, I don't need God. Where was God when my stepfather started messing around with me when I was 14? Where was he when my bitch mother threw me out of the house when she caught me having sex with my boyfriend? Like, that was worse than that son of a bitch husband of hers sticking it in me night after night. I was 15. Where was I supposed to go? I wound up trying to kill myself twice before I decided that my worthless mother and her sickening husband weren't worth dying for. A few years later, when I got married, I thought that was all behind me. Guess I thought life would be full of roses and picket fences. It didn't seem to matter that I never finished high school. I was Mrs. Somebody, married to a man with a good union job, and I even had a diamond ring. And then I got pregnant because he wanted me to have kids. So I had 1, then 2, and then 3. And with each kid, he got nastier. I wasn't as thin as I used to be. I didn't keep the house up. I was a lousy cook. I let the kids get out of hand. Why didn't I get a job and help pay the bills? I was good at spending money. How about making some? He said I'd better keep him happy because nobody else was going to ever want me, fat dropout who couldn't cook. I didn't think I could feel any worse about myself until that last night he came home. I knew I could do better than you, he said, and I have. I'm getting a divorce to marry Cynthia. She was the secretary at the union hall, blonde, big boobs. And so he left. But it wasn't like I'd lost the love of my life. I hated him by then. But he took my kids. And the first weekend he picked them up to visit, he just wouldn't bring them back. He turned me into family services for child abuse and neglect, which was bogus. And then he filed for custody and he got it, because the judge said I was unstable. They drug up my past and the suicide attempts. When I was trying to pull myself back together after the divorce, I went to church. I felt like I was walking on eggshells. I didn't feel accepted for myself. Acceptance seemed to be based on how much money you put in the offering plate. It's like the preacher was saying that your chances of getting into heaven depend on the size of your donation to the church. I thought, BS. That's not what the Bible says. I needed help and they couldn't accept me. You know, they ought to accept you no matter how much money you have, or what color you are, or whether you're straight or gay. Hell, they act like it's a big deal what clothes you wear to church. I don't want to be judged by the clothes I wear. Isn't God supposed to love you no matter what? I hate hypocrites. You know, I got curious once. I went to this pagan group. They called themselves witches, but they were more loving and caring than the people I met in church. At least the witches talked about helping strangers, about living by the golden rule. They said, harm no one. Sounds like good advice to me. Wish the people in my life had followed it. I finally figured out what's right on my own, and I don't need a church to do it. I don't want some church controlling my life.